Alright, I got here, I don't know what year, GMC Yukon. Customer complained he was driving and I think it's stalled. I think it's stalled out and now it won't crank. Nothing. He came to the shop saying it was just a fuse, but I don't know. Let's see. Let's see, we have an engine light. Oh, it's 2023. All right, so we got no codes in the ECM. Let's see, in the differential, low voltage, control module processor performance, lost communication with front view camera, and we got 20 codes in the serial data gateway module. All right, the whole Ethernet 3, it looks down. $96,242 miles according to this. Alright, so a lot of codes. We're gonna have to clear everything and start from scratch. Oh, the battery's low. It's got 11 volts. Let's put a booster on this. Alright, let's put this on. Let's see if it cranks now. Seems like the starter is clicking. Yeah, the starter is clicking. Did the engine get seized? Let me check the oil. I think there's no oil in there. Yeah, there's nothing on the stick. Well, that's not good news. Let me get some oil from the shop. What does it use? 020. Alright, I got some oil over here. Oh boy, okay. Put at least, I think if there's nothing on the stick, we're at least 2 quarts low. That's 2 quarts. Maybe it was a drop more than 2 quarts. Alright, so we're only 2 quarts low, so that shouldn't be. Give it a second to sink because it's very cold. Yeah, alright. Now let's try this again. Make sure the booster pack's on good. Okay. I'm at 11.7. Not the greatest, but I don't have my other booster pack on me. Let me just clear all these codes, unless there was some like oil thing stopping it. Yeah, I definitely hear it clicking. And I wasn't doing that before without the booster pack, so it's low on voltage. The question is if it's still low, if I need another booster pack. Or if the engine seized. So that I would have to turn the engine over, or bad starter. When was the next one due? 96,237. And we're at 96,2. Oh. Okay. It's only a drop overdue for the oil change in miles. Let's clear this one more time. See if I get the top ones off. Yeah, I need another booster pack. Alright, I borrowed this from someone in the shop. Okay, let's see. Nope, alright, I gotta spin this by hand. See if it's stuck or not. Let's shut the key. Yeah, okay. Turn this off so we don't waste it. Could I fit under here? Nope, it's fully blocked. All right, let me get a diagram. See how the star's laid out, and I'll try jumping the starter straight from the relay. Okay, let's get a diagram. Starting and charging, starting circuit. Okay, so here we have the starter relay. Here's the starter motor. So there's an extra one because extra wire because it's start-stop rally. Actually, the main power feed comes in a 400 amp fuse that goes straight to the starter, and that is in on the actual engine block. So that could be blown, by the way, because we will still hear a click from the relay. So the relay gets, the starter relay gets, there's an engine restart relay. So we're not going to worry about this. This is once you're started. But we have a starter motor fuse, a 30 amp fuse, gives power to the starter relay. 87 goes straight to the relay, and then it's controlled, I'm assuming by the computer. So it's constantly grounded on pin 85, and 86 comes from the computer. All right, so what do we know? We have to find this relay. The chances of this, you think there's an actual relay? Junction block right front of engine compartment. Let's go see if it's a real relay or it's built into the board. Alright, let's see if the starter relay is a real relay. Make life a lot easier if it is. Run crank starter motor, awesome. 64 is 2 over here, the one back, that, and this one right here. This is the relay. Okay, so we need pin 87 is going straight to the starter motor. So let me get something to test this on. All right, let me just get this set up. I'm just gonna use a power probe. Okay. Now, ground and power. Now let's start this up. Okay. So now, this is pin 87, and we have ground. I'm going to give power. And I hear it clicking, but it's not starting. Okay. That's the constant power from one side. Ground. And this is when we crank it, we'll get power. So I have to just check the main fuse over here. Fuse, the 400 amp fuse. It's going to be in here. Just disconnect this. And this, so this is ground. Why is this not working? It was working a second ago. Did I break it right now? Alright, here's a test light. We'll just check these big fuses. So we go on ground. And we have power here. Okay. Just gonna go across them. Power, power. And this one's blown. Alright, so 3 must be the main fuse. Yeah, 400 amp. Alright, so we gotta blow main fuse. The question is why? And how do we jump this without buying a whole new thing temporarily just to test it? Should I put a cable across it? That's too dangerous. What do I have? Let me see. I could jump something across here, I guess. Alright, let me go look around what I can do to test this. Okay, let me see. So over here I have 200 amps, 150. Alright, we'll try 200 amp fuse. See if we can somehow fit this in. Maybe I'll put booster cables across it on this piece. Okay, I'm gonna put this like that. Okay, so now let's see if I put this, I'll put this guy over here and this over that will go there. That will go there. Is this on? On. Alright, let's see if this thing starts. It's still not starting. All right, it needs a new fuse box. The question is it seized? Okay, I pulled off this cover over here. So now, okay, let's go on here. Yeah, this thing's not budging. Let me get a little extension so I don't kill my hands. Okay. Yeah, this is not budging. Alright, the only other thing left is the belt. Let's see. The compressor's not stuck. I can't imagine it's the belt. How hard is it to get the belt off? No, I'll just pull it off. Looks like it's one of those that are not a tensioner. But should I just cut the belt? I'm gonna ask him if I can cut the belt. Alright, he said I could just snip the belt since I'm pretty sure it's a bad engine. Is there any easy way to get in there? Alright, belt snipped. Now, let's see how lucky the customer is. No, it's totally seized. Alright, this thing needs an engine. And, like I always like to say, enemy infuse. Because they're going to put an engine in and call me back all mad at me that it still doesn't crank. So, engine, enemy infuse. Alright, thanks for watching.